a quick question regarding a Protestant take that I've came across a number of times.
Okay.
And it's sort of this one they often say, they don't even claim the term Protestant, but rather just like I'm a basic follower of Christ. I don't claim the term Protestant. I'm not a Protestant. There were believers in the early church that weren't part of the Apostolic faith and didn't follow the early church and the church fathers and stuff. So I was wondering if you could just quickly respond to that.
So there is no such thing as lowest common denominator. I just follow Jesus. I mean, there's nothing in the teachings of Jesus where we get like, oh, these are the things, the 3 or 4 sentences that you have to believe. The rest of it doesn't matter. Because even in the Protestant doctrine of inspiration, all of the texts are inspired. So they're all divinely authoritative, right? There's no such thing as lowest common denominator Jesus. I mean, and Jesus himself teaches a lot of things. There's nothing that there's no de facto, oh, well, I know that these 3 ideas are the ones that I have to believe. I mean, Jesus says you have to be baptized. Jesus says you have to be in his kingdom, which is the church. He set up an authority structure and a teaching authority in the church. So how can you, there's no such thing as this. This is a made up idea. And an easy way to demonstrate this is that most evangelicals will agree that they have a different Jesus from the Mormon Jesus or from the Jehovah's Witness Jesus. So just the name itself doesn't mean anything without the context and the referent being the correct Jesus, you see. This is why natural theology doesn't work. There's no such thing as generic lowest common denominator God. Oh, we all believe in God because it's just this, image of an old man in the sky, or it's 3 or 4 of the attributes that we all agree on, or whatever. No, it's the whole system. There's no such thing as half Jesus, partition Jesus, part of Jesus. So you have to, I would say, just critique the presupposition of the evangelical there that there is such a thing as lowest common denominator Jesus, because it simply doesn't exist. There's only one Jesus, and it's the one who set up a church in history. And there's no such thing as believers who weren't part of the church. I don't know where they're getting that. In fact, in the book of Acts, in 8, 9, 18, 8 and 9 and 18, around in there, the apostles who find disciples bring them under the episcopacy. So when they find people that are not fully instructed, like John's disciples who had never heard of the Holy Spirit or whatever, they bring them under the episcopate. So their fictions that they're thinking of don't actually exist. And every one of them is going to have to qualify their quote Jesus when they're encountering any other cult or sect out there like Jehovah's Witnesses.